You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Former minister jailed for insisting that ZAMPOST handles social cash transfer funds against expert advice. KAMBWILI left to defend himself in court as his lawyers temporarily abandoned him to attend to in-house issues. UPND urges international community to take keen interest in the electoral process of Zambia. In international news, MACRON seeks forgiveness over Rwandan genocide. And in sports news, a debit core elates LUNGU. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates 28th to 29th May 2021. Time 07:30 hours to 16:30 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges 950 kwacha. Lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883. or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 913000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people said, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's the name.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. Former Community Development Minister Emerin Kabanshi has been sentenced to 2 years simple imprisonment after being found guilty on 2 counts of a willful failure to follow procedure. In this matter, Ms. Kabanshi failed to follow procedure or guidelines relating to engaging and amending the contract between the Ministry of Community Development and ZAMPOST for payments of social cash transfer money. Delivering a 4-hour judgment, Lusaka High Court judge sitting as Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale said the offense Ms. Kabanshi committed is serious and attracts a custodial sentence of up to 14 years. The court also noted that the circumstances under which the offense was committed were aggravating, especially that ZAMPOST failed to pay for the poor people who needed the money, but instead used the money to buy expensive vehicles. More in this report.
After appearing before the courts of law for close to 2 years, the case involving former Community Development Minister Emerin Kabanshi finally came to its conclusion Friday afternoon after Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale found her guilty and convicted her. The former lawmaker was charged with 2 counts of willful failure to follow the law in a manner in which Zambia Postal Service Corporation, ZAMPOST, was engaged as payment service provider for the social cash transfer program and also on how the contract between ZAMPOST and the Ministry of Community Development was amended. Delivering a judgment that took almost 4 hours, the court said there was overwhelming evidence against the convict. The circumstance under which Kabanshi committed the offense are aggravating, especially considering that she insisted and pushed for ZAMPOST to be re-engaged as service provider when it was clear that the beneficiaries were not receiving their funds. He also found as an aggravating factor the fact that Kabanshi was a technocrat when they meant well. Before sentencing her to a 2-year simple imprisonment, the court said there was need to set an example to would-be offenders to desist from such. But shortly after her conviction, Kabanshi told the media that she was going to appeal.
I will appeal the case. Please don't ask me questions. You say it's a petitioner? I'm not going to answer you. Just leave me.
And when asked if she was a sacrificial lamb, she refused to comment. During trial, several state witnesses had testified that Kabanshi was too emotional and could accuse them of trying to frustrate government work the time they terminated the contract with ZAMPOST on account that they were not giving some beneficiaries their social cash transfer funds and used the donor-funded money to buy vehicles. According to witnesses' testimony, Kabanshi ordered for the reinstatement of the contract between the ministry and ZAMPOST, even after being informed of ZAMPOST's failure to deliver the terms of contract. It was discovered that other social cash transfer beneficiaries would not receive their allocations, while those that received payment was delayed. Allegations in this matter were that the lawmaker between 21st August 2017 and April 26, 2018, while she was a cabinet minister concerned in the administration and management at the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, failed to comply with the law by extending the scope of coverage of contract between ZAMPOST to include 3 provinces and 2 districts under social cash transfer program. Sad, the former lawmaker will have to spend her early 2020 winter days in the chilled cells of Lusaka. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka High Court has set the 16th of June as date for defense in the matter in which 4 Twin Palm Secondary School pupils are accused of murdering a grade 12 pupil of Kabulonga Boys Secondary School last year. The 4 who appeared before Judge Sharon Newa for ruling on a case with no case to answer were placed on their defense. Judge Sharon Newa, in her ruling, said the prosecution had established a prima facie case against Elvis Nsokolo, 19, and 3 juvenile offenders. It is alleged that the 4 on December 4th, 2020 in Lusaka, jointly and whilst acting together, killed Ryan Piri, a grade 12 pupil of Kabulonga Boys Secondary School. Lusaka High Court judge sitting as principal magistrate Mwaka Mikalile Friday morning declined the application by Patriotic Front member Chishimba Kambwili to adjourn his case, where he has been jointly charged with his son with 39 counts of possessing huge amounts of money suspected to be proceeds of crime and obtaining pecuniary advantage, among other offences. When the matter came up Friday morning for commencement of their defense, Kambwili, with his co-accused, indicated to the court that they were going to give evidence on oath, however, raised his hands to make an application, which the magistrate told him that he could not make an application of his lawyers Keith Mwemba and Gilbert Piri because they were capable of sending representatives from their law firms to make applications on their behalf. Kambwili, who pleaded with the court to allow him to speak, said he had an in-house issue to resolve with his lawyers, but the magistrate declined his plea, leaving him in panic mode to prepare his defense in a short period of time. More in this report.
At exactly 10:30 Friday morning, Patriotic Front member Chishimba Kambwili opened his defense after Lusaka Principal Magistrate Mwaka Mikalile denied to adjourn his case, where he is facing 39 counts of possessing obscene amounts of money suspected to be proceeds of crime and obtaining pecuniary advantage, among other charges. In this matter, KAMBWILI, his son Mwamba, and Mwamona Engineering and Technical Services Limited are facing charges of possessing more than 6 million kwacha, obtaining pecuniary advantage, and uttering a false document to a public officer. And their co-accused, Zambia Revenue Authority officials Lukwesa Msonda and Mulinga Kapilima, are alleged to have prepared a false document indicating that Mwamona was tax compliant when in fact not. However, in his defense this morning, the accused testified that Mwamona Company obtained various contracts from different companies, among them Konkola Copper Mine, ZESCO, China Henan, Luancha Copper Mine, and the government. The accused also produced documents of the said contracts and told the court that the evidence before court showed that they had legitimate contracts and money earned as Mwamona, and the said contracts were not the only ones because he picked only those in relation to the charges before court. He says they have done more contracts, and one contract to cite an example of how much it was from KCM with an excess of 11 million United States dollars, and this shows they have been earning legitimate money. He also produced evidence of loading orders from the Food Reserve Agency, where the company earned a total of 8 million kwacha rebased and 12 million kwacha rebased. According to him, he produced these documents for the court to know that they had earned legitimate money. Earlier, KAMBWILI, together with his co-accused, indicated to the court that they were going to give evidence on oath, however, raised his hands to make an application, which the magistrate told him that he could not make an application on behalf of his lawyers, Keith Mwemba and Gilbert Perry, because they were capable of sending their representative from their law firms to make an application on their behalf. However, Mr. KAMBWILI, who pleaded with the court to allow him to speak, said he had issues to resolve with his lawyers. He further pleaded that the court grant him a last adjournment, saying he was equally tired of going to court for 5 years. But the magistrate declined to his plea, leaving him in a panic mood to prepare his defense in the shortest time. Matter comes up on the 7th of June for continued defense. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Inmates in facilities will now have access to e-learning services following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between ZAMTEL and Zambia Correctional Service. Speaking during the signing ceremony held in Central Province Kabwe, ZAMTEL Chief Executive Officer Sydney Mulea says his institution will provide a fleet management system for monitoring and managing the fleet, an inventory management system, and an e-learning platform for inmates to access learning materials and services. Mr. Mulea says ZAMTEL will also deploy an inmate booking and tracking system and a closed user group for staff members. He says e-learning services for inmates will contribute to the rehabilitation and reintegration process in the correctional service so as to reduce reoffending.
We are signing today, as I said, is the beginning of a partnership where ZAMTEL will provide digital services to the Zambia Correctional Service. Under the MOU, ZAMTEL will provide a fleet management system for the purpose of monitoring and managing the fleet, an inventory management system, an e-learning platform for inmates to access learning materials and services. In addition, ZAMTEL will deploy an inmates booking and tracking system and a closed user group for staff. We know that access to e-learning services for inmates will contribute to the rehabilitation and reintegration process in the correctional service so as to reduce reoffending. This will assist the correctional service to enhance its contribution to national development.
And so it is important that we, as Zambia Correctional Service, partner with our colleagues, institutions that are able to give us solutions, such as ZAMTO. In fact, ZAMTO has come too late. They would have started a long time, so that we would have grown together, you know, but it's not too late. Because this is when we are trying to build also capacity amongst our officers. And we want to actually positively report to you, sir, that the government of the Republic of Zambia, through, of course, this government, has given us a mandate to actually employ people with skills.
It's okay?
We sincerely apologize for having referred to the ZAMTEL CEO as Mr. Sidney Muleya instead of Mr. Sidney Mupeta. And moving on in the news, as Zambia joins the global community in marking World Menstrual Hygiene, young people have called on government and cooperating partners to enhance the provision of sanitary towels to girls in schools, especially to those in rural areas. Young people who spoke to Camnet News in Eastern Province at St. Margaret's School say not everyone can afford to buy sanitary pads as the purchasing price is too high for them. They have since called for the provision of washable towels.
The main aim to mark this day is to change the social stigma and taboo associated with menstruation for billions of women and girls worldwide, that menstruation is a monthly reality. Yet in many countries, people still face serious challenges when it comes to managing their periods. Myths, stigma and harmful gender norms around menstruation exacerbate the difficulties for girls and women across the world. I spoke to pupils at St. Margaret's Secondary School in Chipata district of Eastern Province to get their views on this subject.
Thank you for coming. And being a community school is something else. So we really appreciate for your effort, for your coming. God bless you.
So what we doing? Ngashira kwa bana bapazingasha kwashi bashitafiri turafirwa. Ishire ngo kuchabana besumujita ku school bararokota baya. Kai bashita mwene barashayira mu sambiro efa nabo baresambira. So ifo tweshi kwatasha sana twamuno kuti community yesu yaraba bantash kubana bakashana barashingirwa kugana sebana.
Meanwhile, a girl child rights activist, Kasupa Samakai, has been supporting girls by providing sanitary pads in community schools. And this is Kaloko Kantanshi Community School in Ndola on the Copper Belt. He says more must be done to ensure that girls are not left behind in accessing education.
The main aim or motive behind this program is to promote girl-child education. As we all know, the girl-child misses class whenever they are on their periods, as a result that has contributed to poor academic performance. Not only poor academic performance, but it's also something that has contributed to early child marriages. So to fight these problems, we are distributing these sanitary pads to the girl child so that they can go, they can further their studies whilst they are having the sanitary pads, minus having any challenges during the periods.
Improving menstrual health and tackling period shame can improve girls' attendance and performance at school, break down taboos and misconceptions around menstruation, raise girls' self-esteem, and enable them to fully participate in all aspects of society. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Zambia Society for Child Protection says there has been an increase in the number of child sexual abuse cases, while very few reach the prosecution stage due to the lack of sufficient evidence. Zambia Society for Child Protection Chief Executive Officer Nicholas Malaya says there is a need to invest in advanced methods of machinery that will help bring evidence to the court quickly. Mr. Malaya adds that financing challenges have also contributed to delayed sexual abused children from attaining justice. Mr. Malaya said this in Lusaka Friday morning at the prosecutor's workshop meant to discuss child sexual abuse in Zambia. Meanwhile, National Prosecution Authority Deputy Chief State Advocate Charlie Mbewe says prosecutors have to ensure that the rights of child offenders, victims, and witnesses are respected throughout the justice process and the right to a fair trial and protection.
Every month, UTH records not less than 100 cases of children who have been sexually abused. That's way too much. And those are cases that have just come out. But how many of those come to you to take to court? And so we felt something really has to be done. And I think that the biggest problem is that our investigative machinery lacks this bit of critical evidence scientifically. And we hope that as we get along, we will find much more willingness, much more support, much more passion for this advanced method of investigation.
Child victims and witnesses can be considered to be the forgotten party in criminal justice systems and are sometimes even re-victimized by the system itself. They are often not allowed to fully participate in the justice process nor in decisions that affect them, and they do not always receive the assistance, support, and protection they are entitled to. Redress for the harm children have suffered as a result of victimization is often not available. We are here as prosecutors and as our colleagues from Zambia Society for Child Protection to ensure that we play our role to prevent victimization of children, to ensure that we uphold the rights of children in the manner that we conduct prosecutions.
The Food Reserve Agency, FRA, is next week expected to announce the prices at which it will be buying agricultural crops during this year's crop marketing season. FRA Public Relations Officer John Chipandwe says the agency is this season expected to buy white maize, paddy rice and soya beans, which will be done countrywide. It is a known fact that the agency has in the previous 2 seasons struggled to meet its maize purchased target owing to late entry into the market as well as low prices. The agency is, however, optimistic that it will reach its target this marketing season owing to early entry into the market.
The Food Reserve Agency, FRA, will next week on Monday, 31st of May 2021, hold a press briefing. The purpose of the briefing will be to announce the prices at which the agency will be buying agricultural crops during this year's marketing season. During this year's crop marketing season, the agency will be buying white maize, A grade, paddy rice, and soya beans, and this will be done countrywide through the various satellite depots.
We take our first set of commercials. To stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Through the Link Zambia 8000 project, the country has seen increased economic activities as producers no longer face difficulties in accessing markets. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Oh yes, it's Mayday all the way. You've worked hard. Now it's time to play even harder with entertainment that you'll absolutely love this month on GoTV. Okay. Shake things up a little and you'll never know what drama will fall. No matter your age, there's always some fun to be had. And if it ain't broke, they'll fix it anyway. For your favorite shows, stay connected to GoTV to get into Mayday entertainment.
Find something to distract me.
You got it, no problem. GoTV, love it.
We celebrate our first anniversary of starting the news on Camnet TV on the 23rd of May 2021. Our aim is to deliver world-class news that is balanced and factual without fear or favor.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.
As we celebrate our first anniversary, we show you the team behind the Camnet TV World News and show you some of the news clips that made headlines.
On behalf of management and the entire newsroom, happy anniversary to Camnet News.
This is one of the areas that was highly affected by floods.
Behind me is a group of persons living with cross-cutting disabilities who every month gather at this place to receive alms from well-wishers.
The Monetary Policy Committee decided to maintain the policy rate at 8.5%.
This incident provoked KAMBWILI's daughter to slap one police officer, a development that annoyed the men and women in uniform. At the revelations of President Edgar Lungu's running mate, Professor Nkanduluo, clad in her ivory flamboyant outfit, walked in majestically as a running mate should.
The latest is a couple of Lusaka's Kanyama compound. They've assaulted each other of a meager 20 kwacha.
Kudyansi masinya mayoka. Waenda kujagulako chiwabwa cha 5 wagulako na tonshaba abana bazazi bazashita enjoy.
Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To you, our viewers, we say thank you for supporting us as we continue bringing you nothing but the best.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness, and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates, 28th to 29th May 2021. Time, 0730 hours to 1630 hours. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges, 950 kwacha, lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 91 3000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember